Hello, everyone, and welcome to AirWaves, the TWU Local 556 podcast. I'm Christina Peterson, a 33-year flight attendant and proud to be the president of TWU Local 556. I'm also serving as your host for AirWaves today, and we're so glad you're here. Whether you're listening on a layover, during your commute, or squeezing this in between flights, however you found us, welcome. This podcast was created especially for you, the members of Local TWU 556. As flight attendants, we know better than anyone that life doesn't slow down. Our schedules are busy, our days are unpredictable, and we move quickly to keep up. So we wanted to create something that meets you where you are, an easy, accessible way to stay connected, informed, and engaged while you're on the go. Think of this as just one more tool from your union, another way we are working to keep you engaged, empowered, and in the loop. At its core, AirWaves is about connection. It's about bringing our members closer together through important news, expert insights, and yes, some of our unique humor and culture that only Southwest Airlines flight attendants can truly understand. Because what we do is more than just a job. It's the way we live our lives. Our mission with AirWaves is simple: to elevate the flight attendant experience. We're here to help you level up, lead with confidence, and stay united in our shared commitment to protect and support every single flight attendant, because together we're unstoppable. From our very first episode, we are going way back to the beginning. In today's deep dive, we will have with us some of our esteemed colleagues, flight attendants who helped shape this local from the very beginning. They played a key role in establishing Southwest Flight Attendants as one of the most respected and recognized aviation professionals in the world. These stories are powerful, and they remind us just how strong our foundation really is. Also today, we are honored to welcome FADAP to the show in recognition of April's Alcohol Awareness Month. They will be sharing important information about the resources available to you and how to access support when it matters the most. Again, thank you for joining us on this very first episode of Airwaves. Now, those of you who know me, I've been a flight attendant for quite a while, 33 years to be exact. And even when I first started, there were already legends in this union, people who we looked up to. In fact, unless you were living under a rock, people across the country knew exactly who these flight attendants were. When Southwest Airlines first took to the skies in 1971, it didn't take long for our airline to become known for the incredible flight attendants on board. And honestly, that reputation has never left. Passengers came back because of it, and they still do today. So for today's deep dive, we're going back to where it all began. We're bringing in a conversation with three very special TWU Local 556 members, two who have been flying since 1978 and one who joined in 1980. From then to now, what's changed? And just as importantly, what hasn't? Let's listen in as Kay Hogan, a longtime union advocate and leader, sits down with fellow flight attendants Valerie Christensen and Kendra Famiglio. Ladies, take it away.
Hey girls, we've known each other a long time. So I want you to tell me about yourself, who you are, and of course, we didn't have class numbers in those days. So tell me your class date of hire.
My name is Kendra Famiglio. I have been here for 45 years. My class date is 2/26/81.
I'm Valerie Christensen, and my hire date was 12/15/1978. I've been here going on to 47 years.
Well, my name is Kay Hogan. My class date was February 3rd, 1978. So I am in my 48th year as a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines.
A lot of years of seniority, girl.
I know, 45 years and I'm the baby.
A lot of flying. So when we first interviewed in the late 70s, early 80s, Southwest was basically a rebel startup. Do you remember the first time you saw those hot pants And what were you thinking? I can't believe I'm going to wear those, or I can't wait to wear those?
Both. I mean, I was excited to wear the hot pants. I couldn't believe I was going to be a flight attendant wearing hot pants, but it was okay. I came from a store where a boutique, we wore tennis dresses, and so wearing hot pants wasn't that big of a difference.
I agree with Kendra that I was very excited to have been chosen as a Southwest flight attendant, and a little apprehensive about wearing the hot pants, though I was thrilled to have the job. And in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, we will not be in these forever because hot pants were popular in the early 70s. It was now 1978. So I kept that in mind. But Kendra, coming from her background with wearing the tennis shorts, I came from a background of working at a Republic Bank, as Kay did. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here, sorry. So we wore dresses to work every day. And so going to shorts for work was a big, big change for me.
Yeah, exactly. Because really and truly, being a product of the 70s, hot pants, boots were in style. We were a little past that era when I got hired with Southwest Airlines. But I thought, you know what? This just looks like so much fun. This is a startup airline, and there's no telling what the future is going to look like. So I was willing to put those hot pants on and wear those boots and see where this was going to take me.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, service has changed a lot in the years since we started. Back then, we were serving love potions, cocktails, and love bites, peanuts, to mostly businessmen flying around Texas. I can also remember a brief period where we served cinnamon rolls and ice cream sandwiches, believe it or not. What sticks out in your memory?
One year around 1980, it was St. Patrick's Day, and the flight attendants were handing out green bagels to the customers. Hard green bagels with no cream cheese. Only did it that one year, but I thought that was a little unusual.
Hands down, chicken noodle soup.
Yes.
Lipton chicken noodle soup, trying to pour all those cups full of soup and serve them, and that was a little crazy, but that was our big snack, right?
It was the big snack.
It was the big
It
one.
was the long haul.
It was the long haul
Mhm.
on the 727.
727.
Yeah. Cup of soup.
Cup of soups.
Now, the job has changed quite a bit since the late 70s, early 80s. We were called hostesses back in those days. There was manual ticketing, no cell phones, walking out onto the ramp. How does today's role of a flight attendant look and feel different to you? And what are juniors most shocked about to find out what we used to do?
Serving seconds. Just kidding. But for us, I think technology. I mean, where we were, where we started, where we are now, not carrying those manuals anymore, and trip trades on paper that took a week to get processed, and just all of the conveniences of technology. It's unbelievable where we're at. I never thought I'd see this.
Yeah, I think that new hires maybe don't understand that when we first started, that we charged money for cocktails, beer, and 50 cents for a beer we had to make change for. At the end of the evening, we had all the money that we had to account for by counting all the kits and making sure our inventory was correct. And that was after serving on a 40-minute flight and sitting on the jump seat counting as we're landing. Had to get it put inside the envelope, and then we had to go to liquor drop, which could take a while to go find
Figure out
the
where
liquor
it was.
drop
If
was
you could find it.
at
Right.
an outstation. So that was just a lot of work. That when we finally went to the handhelds, it was really took a load off of the flight attendants.
That was huge.
It was huge. On a Friday night,
I
you get
mean,
hundreds
that
of
was an
dollars.
extra 30 minutes after
Mhm.
we got off the plane
Yeah.
to find the liquor drop
And have a witness.
and have a witness.
Oh,
Exactly.
have a witness.
Right.
And then wait to hear the envelope hit the bottom
Right.
to say to make sure it dropped, because it could cause
Exactly.
it caught in the round thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I can remember no trash bags, certainly no gloves. And when you went out to clean up the cabin and pick up cups and glasses from the beverage service and cans, beer cans, you had your tray, your service tray. And so you literally were taking cups from people, and you would pour the leftover ice or liquid in some empty cups, and then you would stack all the rest of the empty cups on your service tray, and you would run to the back of the aircraft as fast as you could and pull the trash can out and dump the whole tray into the trash can. And that's how you did cabin service cleanup after your full beverage service. That's all we had was a tray.
That
Maybe
was
not the
it.
cleanest cabin
No,
cleanup.
and if they happened to stack them too tall and they fell over,
Oh, well.
Or the trash can was too full. Or
Oh, that's when you stuck your go-go boot in the trash can
Oh,
and
right.
wrapped it down as a trash compactor.
I can honestly say I never did that.
I do.
I did not.
Yeah. Those boots were very resilient, weren't they? You know, a lot of people think of us getting unionized and organized was really about pay. But in those days, it was more about getting respect. And we were in boots and hot pants, and we did not have a winter coat.
So when I came, we did have the coat. That was before my time.
Well, I can recall standing on the curb waiting for the hotel shuttle at other airports, and of course freezing in the wintertime. But when you talk about the respect part of getting the coat, it it just gave our look a little bit more, looked a little more professional. Of course, we didn't wear it in the summertime, but it was a big win for us at the time.
It certainly was a big win because the winter coat sort of became kind of the catalyst, if you will, for flight attendants that maybe weren't, weren't really so much on board with being unionized, but they wanted that winter coat and they wanted the respect, and they didn't want to know that they were going to have to stand out on the curb waiting for a hotel van in 20-degree weather in Lubbock or Amarillo or Midland, Odessa. So the coat definitely became the flashpoint for getting all of our girls together and getting us organized and unionized. And then once we got the coat, we proved to them and to ourselves that we could do it if we stuck together. It was a big win.
And then following that, we tackled the hot pants
That's right.
situation, and as a group, unionized, we were successful.
That's exactly right. It literally started with a uniform. And that's pretty incredible when you think about it. So when we finally get to our first contract, which was the biggest win for us personally, was it the uniform, the rules, or just finally having a seat at the table?
Seat at the table.
A seat at the table.
Seat at the table. Because the seat at the table meant you now had a voice, and you knew that your voice carried power. The collective voices of all the flight attendants joined together, even though they were represented at the table by a small group of people. It was the voices of all of those flight attendants behind those people at the table representing us that made the difference. And so we knew we finally had a voice and people were listening.
And I think that generated a lot of respect for our work group, for management, from the company.
Absolutely, Tom. Absolutely. It did generate a lot of respect for us. So fast forward to today, and the contract we achieved led the industry. We even got the very first paid maternity and paternity leave in that contract, the pink contract. Back then, would you have even guessed that we would be where we are today?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we've come so far. Um, we were such a different airline when we started. We didn't follow any other carriers. We were mavericks. Everything was so different. Our uniforms, our hospitality, our service style. I thought that it would always be that way. And then you did realize, Valerie, what you said about the respect and how important that respect was that we get from our peers and our, other flight attendants and other airlines. And these contracts really enabled us to gain that respect and to be looked at as serious players in this airline industry.
I think for me, each contract that has built upon the past contract, um, in respect to our pay scale, is significant. And when we were in our younger days, the salary that we had to live on was difficult, and we would have to work a lot of overtime, not overtime, extra trips to make ends meet, especially as a single mother or father. And I, for me, this pink contract we have now, the pay scale, I never would have imagined that we would be where we are today in our salary compared to what we were at the very beginning. But we've come a long way. You can now support your family without flying 130 trips a month. And it's very comforting and rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that me personally, I don't think looking back, trying to look forward, that it could have ever imagined that we would be where we are today. But in hindsight, at that time, you're part of something different. There's something different. There's something special. There's something unique. As you said, Kendra, one of a kind. There was nobody else like us in the industry. And we were the Mavericks, which I think we were the Mavericks in the airline industry, but I think our flight attendant union became the maverick of flight attendant unions because with every contract, we got better. We got stronger. We were more empowered. We empowered each other. And it's just incredible to think where we are today and we've all seen it. We've had the front row seat to watch the successes that Southwest Airlines has accomplished, but Southwest Airlines accomplished those successes because we were successful.
Absolutely.
We were part of the journey. We were part of the success. I like to say the better we got with our contracts, the better we made Southwest Airlines because we were partners in being successful.
And we still are.
And we still are to this day. And but I truly look back over these decades of us being unionized and organized, and we have become a powerful force in the labor movement. And we're an example to other flight attendants who are not unionized or who are. They can achieve what we achieved because we started with nothing.
Right.
And look where we are today.
Right. We were grovelers. Is that what you say? Like we had to fight for everything we got.
You mean we worked for peanuts?
We worked for peanuts. We did, didn't we?
Okay, we're going to do a speed round. Answer in just a word or two, which of course is hard for flight attendants. That's not in our vocabulary. Go-go boots, style icon or a nightmare for your feet?
All of the above.
Oh,
one word. Sorry.
agree with Kendra.
Both. Best layover city?
I think Harlingen in the early days because it was a 20-minute drive to South Padre. So you could go have dinner, Louie's backyard.
And we had a car.
And we had a car. The Sun Valley Motor Hotel.
You go fall asleep on the beach.
Herb Kelleher in one word, which is impossible.
Iconic.
Respected. All employees totally respected her.
Genius. If you could go back to the late 70s, early 80s for just one flight, would you do it?
100%.
Absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
And I would love to reenact one flight and have it filmed so people could see what we did in 1978.
I'm kind of glad there were no cameras.
Well,
1978.
Well, that too, but 10-minute turns, throwing luggage in the lavatory,
Throwing a passenger in the left.
throwing a passenger in the lavatory,
Just take off in there.
Get in the bathroom. We're ready to go.
pushing back with passengers standing in the aisle,
You know what I didn't
standing up on
remember?
takeoff.
That
Take-
I didn't remember that we would be deplaning and boarding at the same time, passing each other. I
In a
kind of had
jetway.
forgotten about that.
Mhm.
But yes, and aisles and trash
And smoking.
and smoking.
Ashtrays in armrests, and you had to empty them.
Daisy
Dukes. I
Dukes.
know smoking and a smoking
Daisy
section.
Dukes.
Daisy
Oh,
Dukes.
Daisy Dukes.
If you don't know what that is and you didn't have to wear them, good for you. Because we had to wear on Friday nights these shorts that were literally Daisy Duke shorts, a bandana, a red and white gingham check shirt, and represent Dr. Pepper or Coke. But I remember it didn't feel good wearing those Daisy Dukes. I mean, there was a purpose, and we felt it. That was something I'll never forget that.
Hot pants were one thing.
Hot
but
pants
Daisy
were one
Dukes-
thing, but the Daisy Dukes, they were a whole nother level.
Biggest union win.
So many. My goodness. Open time, trip trades, vacation pay, maternity leave. I mean, the list is endless, really, from starting with nothing and where we are, just duty rigs. I mean, there were no duty rigs. We slept on the planes, and we were the terminator and the originator.
Short back.
There was nothing called fatigue.
Sick leave protection. When we started, if you called in sick, did you lose your privileges or you were restricted from your privileges, but you could only call in sick one time? We did not have a point system. So the discipline could come easily.
Weight check.
Weight check was
Weight check. Huge. Literally.
I think I would sum it up. It's like Herb. You can't describe him in one word. Union wins you can't describe in one word. What you can say, it's decades, a legacy of winning and improving and securing industry-leading contracts for our flight attendants. That's the biggest thing to me. It's decades of a legacy, and we're not done. We're not done. Best short piece of advice for junior flight attendants.
For me, I would say stay off your devices and engage with your customers, because you are going to be rewarded over and over by the people you meet, by the people that you make a difference to them in that flight. We never know what they're going through. You've heard that before. But my favorite campaign was Every Seat Has a Story. And you'll never know what those stories are if you're not out there talking and engaging.
I encourage new hires, anyone who has not been flying for very long. It's tough at the beginning, reserve, commuting, and it's so challenging. But please hang in there, because it will only get better, and it will be so rewarding in the end if you can do that.
Exactly. I think the best advice I give to junior flight attendants is embrace all the positives about the profession of being a flight attendant, specifically for Southwest Airlines, because it can do for you what it has done for me. I'm a living example of that. You and Kendra are living examples of that, Valerie. That's what being a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines can bring to your life, your livelihood. Embrace the positives, hold tight to your fellow crew members. And yeah, it's a tough job, but don't focus on the negative. Hold on to those positive things. And before you know it, you've had this long and wonderful career just like we have. And
Exactly.
it's worth it.
So proud of who we are, where we started, and where we've come, and where we're going.
Exactly. Very proud and honored and privileged to have been a part of the journey.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And lifelong friendships.
Even better.
Even better. Yes. Even better. Even better. Stews for life.
That's it.
That was such a great conversation. And honestly, it just makes you proud to be a part of this legacy and this union. One of the things that really stands out both then and now is how flight attendants take care of each other, not just in the fun moments, but in the challenging ones too. So now I want to shift us to a different kind of conversation. April is Alcohol Awareness Month, and this is something that touches more people than we sometimes realize. The good news is that there are resources, there is support, and more importantly, there are people who care and truly understand what we face as flight attendants. So I'm really glad to be sitting down today with Paul Egger, a Southwest Airlines flight attendant from FADAP, the Flight Attendant Drug and Alcohol Program, to talk about the resources available to members, how it all works, and why it matters. Paul, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. FADAP is a union committee. It's not a management tool. Will you share a little bit about the distinction between that and what that means for our members?
Yes, absolutely. While we are supported very much by the company, just like CISM and professional standards, we do not report anything to the company. Everything is 100% confidential. We're here for the union membership, and not just the membership, their friends, family, loved ones, spouses, children. Anybody that needs help, we can help. And it is, again, 100% confidential.
That's amazing. You are a flight attendant, obviously. How did you find your way to this committee?
Well, I went through the FADAP program coming up on 9 years ago, and I was so grateful. I wanted to pay it forward. And in order to be on the FADAP team for Southwest, you have to have 2 years of recovery, 2 years sober. And once I got those 2 years, I asked to be on the team. And you know, peer-to-peer support is extremely important because you know, we do the same jobs that the people calling in do, and we've been on the other side of that phone. We know exactly what they're going through. We understand the anxiety and the emotions. It's not an easy time to make that call, and as their peer, we can help them navigate through the process.
Wow. Okay. Um, as well, Alcohol Awareness Month focuses on the stereotypical drinker. What do flight attendants, how does that differ for being a flight attendant?
As a flight attendant, I usually think about there's a recovery term. It's an acronym. It's called HALT, HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And those are emotions that all flight attendants feel at different parts of the day, especially when they're working a 3-day trip or a 2-day or even a turn. Um, and it's real easy as a flight attendant to hide uh, a substance abuse or alcohol use problem. You know, it's because of our job. We like to go down, hang out with the crew, have a few drinks. What people need to realize is that it's not how much you drink or how often you drink. You got to pay attention to what happens when you drink. That's a big deal. Um, and also, you know, when the party's over, do you keep drinking? Do you drink to excess? Do you drink to black out? Do you drink while you're taking your prescription medication. Um, those are all things that could be considered questionable choices and might be something to look at. And that's just not while you're working, but also at home as well.
Mm, yeah. If I'm on a 3-day trip and I'm worried about a colleague, what's that first step that I would take?
Well, if you're worried about a colleague, you can either talk to them about it, or if you don't want to, you can call the hotline and stay completely anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You can give the flight attendant's name or coworker's name, and we can do a reach out call, and they will never know where it came from because everything is 100% confidential. As far as at home, if it's a family member, I would advise not doing it while they are under the influence. It can tend to take a bad turn. So maybe the next day, if it's somebody you have a great relationship with, they're going to want to hear it from you, especially the next day if they're having regret or any level of shame. I mean, deep down inside, chances are they know it, and to hear it from a loved one is a big deal.
So if someone's listening out there and they feel like they need to talk to someone, what's that first step?
If they need to talk to someone, call the hotline. Again, it's 100% confidential. You're going to be talking to a working flight attendant who is also in recovery. Everybody on the Southwest Flight Attendant team, on the FADAP team, excuse me, is in recovery. So we've been on that side, and we know what it's like, and that call's not easy, so we can get all the information that you're willing to give. And again, if you want to stay anonymous, you can. We can help with local recovery support, therapy, and what we obviously do have treatment centers, but not every phone call leads to treatment centers. There's all kinds of level of care. And, we also do get a lot of medication questions. It's a common misconception that there's this magical list of medications flight attendants can or cannot take, and that's not the case. So not every phone call is going to get you into treatment, okay? If you have questions, call the hotline and we can answer them.
So what kind of questions do you ask? Are they immediately pulled from flying?
Well, we don't have the ability or the power to pull anybody from flying. We really just try to get your story, what's going on. Every phone call has its own unique circumstances. So it just depends on the caller, depends on what's going on in their life. We are not there to tell you that you have a problem. I mean, that's not for us to, distinguish. If you feel like you have a problem, you can talk to us about it and you'll make your own call on that. We're definitely not there to judge. I can't even spell the word perfect, okay? So none of us are. So yeah, we just want to get you the right resources that we can.
So regarding other life issues, so it's just not alcohol that address.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's other substance abuse
Yeah.
potentially.
I mean, obviously April is Alcohol Awareness Month, but we also cover everything under the sun. But we also, at the end of the day, addiction, it's a symptom of something deeper. We work with CISM to deal with mental health. The primary focus is alcohol and substance abuse.
So just in closing, what do you want our members to know if you had to summarize one thing about the committee? What would it be?
We're a tight-knit group, and we all come from different walks of life, and but we got that common goal of recovery. And it's something that touches everybody's life. Doesn't matter who you are. If it's not affecting you, it's affecting somebody you know and love. And you don't have to be a flight attendant to get help from FADAP. We've helped family members, again, like I said, spouses, children, neighbors of flight attendants. And it's not easy to make that call. We are 100% confidential, and we can get you to the right resources to get you help. I mean, at the very least, we want to plant that seed that doesn't have to, you don't have to keep doing what you've been doing. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, give us a call.
Paul, remind us what the phone number is for FADAP.
Yes, absolutely. It's 214-640-4307. Call anytime, day or night.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for that information. It's amazing, and I appreciate you and everything your team does every single day. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here, Paul.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Christina.
This has been such a fun day. Just want to thank you both for being here. I've got a couple of fun rapid fire questions for you. Okay, favorite memory of Herb?
Oh gosh, I have many, but this one is one of my favorites because we're going way, way back to the very early days. Old Love Field. The offices, Southwest offices, were off of Regal Row in an office park. And so when you got off your trip, you walked down the jet bridge stairs and you were on the ramp. Well, between gate 1 and 2 at the Old Love Field, there was a underhang parking area that was Herb's. And he had this fancy German sports car called a Bitter, which he loved fast cars. So we're coming down the steps, myself and the other two girls, and all we have is a little tote bag and our purses at the time, and we didn't have luggage. And here he's backing out of his parking spot in his Bitter, and he sees us, and he gets out of his car, and he's got his cigarette in his hand, and he goes, "Girls, you need a ride?"
Oh my God, that's awesome.
We're like, "Sure, Herb." And he goes, "Come on, get in. I'll take you back over to the office." So we go over to the Bitter German sports car, and it's a sports car. And there's 3 of us with these tote bags and these kind of large purses. So we crammed ourselves literally into his car. I think actually there were 2 of us in the passenger seat. Somebody sat on my lap or I sat on somebody's lap. And then the other girl sat in the back seat with all the tote bags and the purses. And he took us back over to Regal Road to our office. So he was our private chauffeur.
I love that
Well, who wouldn't love a
story.
sports car
Yeah,
when it's so
right.
like that? I
Right.
mean, I want a sports car now.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. That's a great story. How about you? What's your favorite Herb memory?
Well, when I was brand new, I met him and Colleen once. I was just out of training, maybe a year or two, and my son at the time was 2 or 3, and I heard they made employee IDs for your families back then. And so I got my son, we flew to Dallas for the day and went to headquarters to get that ID. And we were just walking, looking at the pictures on the wall, and Herbal and Carlene came around the corner, and I got so excited and introduced myself. And yeah, I held out my hand, and Colleen was like, "Oh, honey, we don't shake hands here. We hug," with that twang. And so they both gave me hugs, and we got pictures. I still have that picture, me holding my son and Herb and Colleen on both sides. It was awesome. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a great one. I have a good story too.
Yeah.
1993, we were the Triple Crown winners. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I've been here, but yeah. And we were all new hires. We hadn't even graduated class yet, and they let us attend this inaugural airplane unveiling with the Triple Crown emblem, and it was so fun. I mean, here comes Herb and Colleen. They came down the stairs of the aircraft, and it was like being at a rock concert. People were screaming and carrying on. It was so cool. And so we got up to the front because we were the newbies, right? So we're like, do we ask him for his autograph? What do we do? What do we do? Like, we didn't know what to do. We were so intimidated. He was like, "Come on in, ladies, come on in," and we got this great photo. It was so cute. It was just really fun. He was always so gracious and funny and just welcoming, and he will be missed for sure. Well, gosh, thank you so much. This has been such a great first podcast. I just want to say thanks again for showing up. Tell your friends. We look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.